So, you want to see something cool? Zombified beetles. Do you want to see something else that is not cool? Normal beetles not dying after a few seconds, which was meant to be for the zombified beetles. So desert just became increasingly harder. It was only meant for these beetles, the ones that weren't spawned in naturally at the time of recording. Yeah, these beetles, they did not spawn in naturally. It drops a new bandage petal. Hey, did you see the ank drop rates? It might even be farmable in the future. A very interesting gimmick indeed, and it makes you wonder if there's going to be a future sub-level in desert, because it's about time that every other biome, other than garden, gets their own exclusive sub-level. Anthill does not count because they are all connected. Well, at least they're good target practice for my bone, although considering these beetles do not die after a few seconds, after losing all of their health, I think in this future sub-level, bones and eggs may not even be good. Who knows? Also, speaking of which, the undead mechanic also worked on egg summons, beetle egg summons, which was definitely not intended. Yeah, there was also a super one, and we have to deal with all of these glitched out beetles that weren't supposed to have this mechanic. Good thing there's enough players here to stop this new edition of beetles, and this fight will have a 7-second delay, basically, considering it stays undead for about 7 seconds when it loses all of its health, meaning you also have to survive for 7 more seconds, because if you don't, you may lose the loot if you die right when it happens. And even with the reduced drop rates for egg on this version of beetle, I still get an ultra drop. Amazing. Now to deal with all of the other beetles and hopefully not die to mythics. On top of that, I could also use the new bandage petal. But before I use the bandage petal, there is the normal beetle that still hasn't been killed yet. And considering that I usually don't die to beetle, I am not going to use bandage. And yes, this beetle also has the undead mechanic. The developer even said this. And speaking of dying, you know all of these beetles with the undead mechanic? Well, I died because of this. I died because of the developer's bug. I thought there were no bugs in this game. Maybe this is a real feature. And after almost respawning, because usually I do when this happens, it died. And then I respawned, and then I realized that I still have obtained the loot, even though I was dead for about 59 seconds. Yeah, I was lucky. Alright. Now I will use the bandage petal to show you what it does. Because descriptions are not enough, you have to use it in order to know what it does exactly. With this petal, you don't die until a certain amount of time has passed. And when you do eventually die, you cannot be revived for 30 seconds. So you know what this means. It's going to be used in those frickin' ram builds. And this is just mythic, imagine ultra or super. Now, for egg summons to use this undead mechanic, on accident, here you will see it in action. Imagine if this was a real feature, and wasn't an accident. That would be another huge buff to beetle eggs. And Lord knows we do not need more buffs to summons now. Although, it would be interesting to use this in other biomes, particularly garden. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to use it in garden. I was about to, but then it got fixed, so this is all you're getting. And of course, you think this is all that there is? No, because if you thought factory was the only thing coming, apparently not, so have fun when it happens.